In Hong Kong, thousands of democracy activists have clashed with police as they try to surround the government's headquarters. Police used batons and pepper spray against the demonstrators in the worst violence for a week. Protesters fought back with wooden shields and metal barricades, defying orders to end their two-month campaign. The activists are demanding the right to choose Hong Kong's leaders without interference from Beijing. Chris Buckley is the Hong Kong reporter for the New York Times, and he joins us now from Hong Kong. Chris, great to talk to you this evening. Now, what prompted the students, firstly, to reinvigorate this campaign that really had sort of been petering out?
Well, I think that's it. The simple answer to that question is 2 months. It's been 2 months since the students first initiated the protest that led to these street sit-ins. And I think within the movement there's been this sense that there has to be some sort of new sense of direction, some new goal to give the movement fresh impetus. And the students then chose this action last night, which I think backfired on them.
Yes, you've had the sense, I've seen quite a few tweets as well, of students quite despairing at the fact that this protest really seems to have backfired, as you've pointed out, because police now ramping up their determination to really end this once and for all.
Yes, it's still difficult to say, though, just how long it's going to take before the police clear the protesters or the protesters themselves decide to move. It's a very large encampment. There was a camp that was moved last week, but that was somewhat smaller. This one is larger. It covers an expressway in the middle of Hong Kong. If the police do try to move in there, it's going to be a very complicated and possibly risky operation, even with the setback to the student protesters last night.
And it has been interesting because other than the first couple of days where there was tear gas used and there was violence, police have been quite calm. Why do you think they've ramped up their response with regard to this latest protest movement?
Well, there have been sporadic outbursts of violence, clashes throughout the past 2 months, and certainly the protesters say that sometimes the police have been heavy-handed, gone beyond the rules in exercising force. I think in this particular case, the government is also under pressure as well. They're under pressure from citizens who don't like to see the students continuing to occupy the streets. They're probably under pressure from Beijing as well, that doesn't like the spectacle of a Chinese city, Hong Kong, which has important roads still besieged by students. So there was some pressure on the government as well to make sure that escalation would not succeed last night.
Have things calmed down a little tonight?
So far they have, but these things always start quite late. I think tonight, though, a lot of people, a lot of the students, a lot of the protesters are just exhausted after a night of contention and struggle. And I got the feeling on the camp today that a lot of the people are just trying to recover from last night, first of all, and trying to work out what happens next as well.
And that's such a great point, because tactically people have questioned exactly how students get the authorities to really try and accede to their requests, because there's still no sign that there is going to be any change in the plans going forward with the election of the next chief executive.
That's very true. And if you talk to many of the participants in the protest movement, there's a two-sidedness to it. There's two levels to it. On the one hand, I think there is a sincere desire to see the Chinese government and the Hong Kong government to make concessions that would provide for a more democratic electoral system for the city, even if the protesters can't get all of what they want. But I think there's also recognition among the protesters that they might not get anything at all. And so the whole point of the protest movement almost becomes to train this generation, to immerse this generation in this culture of protest, so that they'll be ready to carry on this struggle in the future.
So from where you're looking at it, it sounds like this could keep going on, despite the fact that police have responded more vigorously this time.
Well, throughout the past 2 months, I think we've all been tripped up on our own false expectations about what would happen. So I'd be foolish to offer my predictions now. But still, there are quite a large number of people out on the streets there. I don't think the Hong Kong government wants to endanger the initiative that it now enjoys by being seen as responsible for major bloodshed on the streets, for example. So I think they'll be treading carefully. Just how quickly they tread, though, it's really difficult to tell. And they're probably trying to work that out themselves.
Yeah, volatile situation. Chris, great to talk. Thanks for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.